Yes, in November I announced that I won't be seeking re-election next October. I want to give our local association a lot of time to find a new candidate, and also, for me, it's a very personal decision. It wasn't an easy one to make because I do love my job, but I felt like it was time for a little more me time. And I do feel like I'm leaving the place in better shape than I found it, and I'm very proud of my legacy and the great things we've accomplished, and working with some fantastic people here locally. We've moved a lot of projects forward, and I'm really proud of what we've done, but I think for me it's time to make a change, and so I'll be working hard for the next 10, 11 months, and then move on to something new, and I have no idea what that is yet, but I'm looking forward to new challenges.
So when you look at the previous year, was there a push? Was there an urgency for you to finish off certain projects, knowing that you weren't going to go
Well,
forward?
I didn't really make the decision until the fall. So, but we had so many projects that were coming together. It did seem like a good transition time. I've got a few more projects in the works that I hope to see move forward over the next year. But certainly, opening the new hospital, which was such a big push and such a lot of work for so many people over a long period of time. Seeing that happening, doing the ribbon cutting and seeing thousands of people from the North Bay area come in to visit the new facility, that was a really exciting day and really a great culmination of a lot of work. Opening Cam's Place, which was one near and dear to my heart, was really special and so lovely to see that the boys who are living there now are very happy and settled in and being well looked after. Opening the water treatment plant, which was something that I think we announced funding for in my first year. Seeing that finally come to an end and in place and serving the community was really important. The progress we've made on Highway 11, still more work being done. Another big contract went out this year, and seeing that that's working towards the end and will be completed in 2012. That was a great, feeling that the progress is being made. We made some progress on low-income housing. We've moved forward on a number of units at Castle Arms 4 in Mattawa and East Ferris and Astorville and Corbeil, both areas of East Ferris, and a couple of other projects here in town that we opened and saw people moving into. And that's we've invested in over 150 new units where we haven't seen any new units for 10 years. So that was exciting, and just to see those kinds of things moving forward, some incrementally, some in leaps and bounds, but it's wonderful to just see those projects happening. Dental clinic for low-income kids, another great announcement. We see, there's already kids getting treatment now, but we'll see more in the new year. Family health team in Powassan, nurse practitioner clinic in North Bay. Really great investments that I think are going to pay off long term in the community at large.
Certainly not without some issues, your critics, etc. I can't help but think that the HST and the move has not been an easy one, and this city council is still, wanting some things lifted off of that.
Yeah, the HST, the transition is still taking place. We put a lot of supports in place for people, particularly our low income and seniors, including tax credits. And 90% of the population will see a tax cut, a personal income tax cut this year. 90,000 Ontarians are going off, won't be paying any Ontario income tax this year. We've seen tax credits for activities for young people to help our middle class families. We've seen tax credits for support for our low-income families and our seniors. We've got an Northern Energy tax credit that's just for Northern Ontario folks, and that's about $130 a year, and that's being implemented. Big take-up on that. We've also seen just recently the 10% decrease or rebate in energy costs. And unfortunately, the City Council, Mike Anthony, didn't seem to actually pay attention to that. We've actually taken more than the provincial share of the HST off of hydro, and I think that was part of his resolution of late. It's already happening, starting in January. So 10% off hydro bills starting in January, and people will see it on their bill in January. The payments, I think, will start happening, or the rebates will start happening in May. And that's huge for people, and that's something that we heard from people. They were concerned about the HST on their hydro bills. The provincial component is 8%. We went 2% better and are taking off 10%.
Gas at the pumps, though, is still a hefty issue for a lot of Northerners that are in rural communities, and away from North Bay.
Sure, yeah, and we've, you know, and that's part of why we've put the tax rebates in place and the tax credits in place and the transition payments that families have been receiving. Families are receiving $300 checks in the last couple of weeks, and they'll get another one in June. So we've put a lot of protection in place to help people, as well as the tax cuts that are happening within your personal income tax that people will see when they file this year.
What was your biggest hurdle for yourself in the work that you do this year?
I think probably my biggest challenge is just you know, the negative attitude of City Council and their unwillingness to work with me on things. I really tried hard. I've brought a lot of funding to the community, including another $2 million for the waterfront this year. Seeing that move forward has been a great part of my 7 years in office. But you know, it's not without its challenges. And I think we've seen incredible investment in the city over the last 7 years, and I think it's just unfortunate that council has been unable to acknowledge that and just continues to want to pick fights.
Greatest triumph?
This year? Wow, tough to say. Hospital opening, Cam's Place, housing, low-income dental, you know, bringing 10 people to Toronto to meet the Queen who normally would not have had that opportunity. Lana Mitchell from Lippy, Marguerite Martel, one of the founders of the Compagnon, Jim Marmino from the Davidi Club, the Isons from the Legion, who give so much to the Legion, Anita Spalding, a 40-year volunteer at the Cancer Society, Mary Lou Rainville, huge volunteer out in the Mattawa community, George Onley, a Navy vet and a huge volunteer in Callender, and Mackenzie Willis, and Jack Burrows. Jack Burrows, who of course epitomizes you know, North Bay and all the great community accomplishments, and having founded the Community Foundation, kind of the icing on the cake of his career. And Mackenzie Willis, a young kid who's doing great things to save the environment and so keen and such a great northern presence. And so, you know, having that group of people together and seeing how excited they were, that was a real treat for me as well.